Hello, Northern Arizona University. My name is Sara Williams.
And my name is Darby Walker.
And welcome to Cutlines and Deadlines.
The purpose of this podcast is to let our audience get to know the Lumberjack staff and primarily to give a microphone to college students.
We are a studied and talked about population, but our opinions and experiences are often undervalued.
Often, young people don't watch the news because they aren't meaningfully represented.
This podcast will have themed episodes ranging from public opinion to political activism that give the mic to college students involved with the episode's theme.
Some will be Lumberjack staff, others will be students or college-age people applicable to our subject matter. In our first episode, we'll be taking a look at dating in the modern era.
What are situationships? Are dating apps good for dating? Does AI and social media skew people's perspectives?
We'll talk about our experiences, reference studies, and pull from articles to expand on what it's really like to date in 2025.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to Cutlines and Deadlines. As you heard, this week we'll be talking about relationships. We're going to start off by talking about AI romantic partners. We saw an article from NPR that mentioned 1 out of every 5 high schoolers are or know someone who is in a romantic relationship with AI. And I wanted to talk about that because I think we've all heard of like crazy obsessions with things before. We talked about somebody's married a cardboard Cullen, like Edward Cullen cutout. I remember that in like 2010. And like, I think maybe 2 years ago, I saw a guy who married a like graphic designed version of Miku, and then he carries around like a big stuffed doll of her. And so we were kind of just chatting about whether or not AI relationships, at least for a romantic purpose, are more harmful or helpful for young people dating. I played like an Otome game, which is a dating simulator, when I was younger. And I did some research about that because there's not as much research about if AI is bad for kids' mental health and stuff. And there was only really one study that I could find, and it was in England. So I don't know how accurate it is to American people. But they were basically saying that Otome games could be helpful for young people learning how to interact and get better at interacting with people in like dating in real life. And I was kind of curious about your guys' like opinions on that. Like if high schoolers, do you think it's more scary that high schoolers are using AI to fill a romantic relationship rather than trying it with real people? Or do you think it's going to give them the opportunity to practice, maybe get a few things wrong, and then go on dating real people?
I think if there's an innocence to it, I think it's okay. And I think because that's a learning aspect to it. But I think when it goes past the innocence level and it's like, I don't know, like essentially you're just harassing a AI app, like I think that's where it gets a little creepy because I think that like teaches false, I don't know, actions. I don't know how I feel about it. It's kind of I'm very conflicted by it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it, in a way, I think the initial response to it is just going to be like, oh my God, teenagers are talking to this AI, to this robot, to the sort of strange factor of it, to the novelty of it. But really, is it, like you said, is it so much different than utilizing a dating sim or even like, some kind of multiplayer things back in the day? I think, not approaching it from just the angle of like, this is some brand new thing that we have to be afraid of, but more just that it's the same thing happening on now this new platform. And like, this is one more thing that is going to be monitored just 24/7 by these AI large language models and like the companies that make them. Like now people's sex lives are going to be incorporated into AI models.
Like formed by AI. Like what if the AI has like somebody 2 like chats ago had a really weird kink, and then now a minor is talking to that AI and that AI brings up that kink, and that could just impact their entire life. Yeah. I feel like that to me is more like in the same thing with a dating sim. Their whole point is to keep you in it as long as they can. So they do want some level of emotional attachment to the character or to the AI. And that's where I feel like that'll be harmful for some people, because I played a game called Mystic Messenger, and basically like fake and like I would call them like anime guys. They kind of have that, like they're drawn characters.
Yeah.
And it's like similar to, I don't know if Baldur's Gate has like a route per person to like kind of rizz them up. You know what I mean? Like, be like, oh, hey, I like you. But that's what this game was, is you would like go on a route, choose a person, and just talk to that person. And then he'd like call you, text you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, be angry if you didn't answer. Like, I got to a point, I didn't play it for very long. I played it for like maybe 2 or 3 months. And my friend was playing it for like 2 or 3 years.
Oh, wow.
And she found it, I still don't, she hasn't dated anybody to the best of my knowledge still.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, and she and I aren't friends anymore.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder
Yeah.
if that shaped any of that.
I think it gives like an unrealistic expectation.
Yeah.
Like, I think it makes you think every time you text somebody, they're going to immediately text you back.
Yeah, and it's like, not that dating is a game, but there is still like, you have to respect people's privacy, and also no one wants anyone that's way too needy.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's nice when someone doesn't respond or something like that, because, you know, they're in their own world. I respect people that are in their own world and have their own interests. So if it's something like that, it's just so way too social media, you know, instant gratification.
Yeah, it's too easy.
Yeah.
Like, there's never going to be conflict. There's never going to be like a real conflict with an AI.
That's a great
partner.
point. Yeah.
Like,
Not gonna
it is
fight.
always going to. You know,
I have a
'cause-
question about it.
Yeah.
Is it like, okay, I'm used to mobile games where like you can play only a certain amount,
Mm-hmm.
and then their ads come and all that stuff. Is it kind of like where you only get to a certain amount of access at like hours throughout the day if you don't pay for a subscription?
There was one character you could pay to access. He was like the boss of you. There's some pros and cons. Yeah, some grossness to
Oh.
that. Yeah, but like we could do an entire episode just about that app
Right.
because of in my personal opinion, like the entire storyline in the app was like a storyline for a video game.
Right.
And as the main character, as the person with the phone, like the storyline is that the app and that these people are just like real, but they're just not able to physically interact with you. Like, it is such a weird like reality shift where like you genuinely believe, like some people that I knew genuinely believed that they loved these people.
Huh.
And it's like, and they weren't even an AI that was responding to what they were saying. That was recorded responses that they knew was going to happen.
Right. It was just, video game dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my understanding with now, like, people using AI models around it is there's a lot of them that are kind of starting to be monetized, so there's a limitation in that now. Like, a lot of the character AIs for sure are like, I know I've seen advertisements for them, and they're all you have to pay for them for the most part. But ChatGPT for sure is free. You know, we can all go on there and talk to ChatGPT, and that's what a lot of people are doing, is just treating, or I think kind of like taking something like ChatGPT or another AI model and just kind of like training it or using the specific prompt where it now acts the way that they want them to. And I don't think there's really any limitations around that currently.
I think for me, the first time, I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe for our generation, the first time we saw AI implemented into our everyday world was when Snapchat had AI. And once in a while, if you accidentally sent like a snap to it, it would send you a whole long paragraph describing what the photo was, how you're doing, all that stuff. That was the first time for me that I had my, it was so closely in my like everyday personal world that it was like access to AI. And I have friends that would used to like mess with it, like do graphic stuff with it, like send pictures of their genitalia to it just for for fun stuff. And it was like, it's like, what are you doing? You know, that's monitored by somebody. Like, that's a company's AI. Like, what was the thinking behind that, you know?
Or lack thereof.
Lack thereof, right.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
sorry.
can go.
Yes, I feel like Snapchat has a lot to do with like our modern, just social media and like AI landscape. I think Snapchat, it probably became big like before I was, or like during high school or whatever, but I was sort of like just a little bit too late to like really get into it, or like my friends kind of got it and I just like kind of missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems very beneficial. But yeah, like the way that I see like Snapchat was like marketed to people and like used, like it was basically a sexting app that was entirely marketed to like high schoolers. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Insane.
Absolutely.
That we all just lived through that. And that was a normal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's wild.
I don't know. I was in middle school when I first got Snapchat. So like 7th grade. And later in
Same
that
with me,
year, one of my friends, she was like so proud of herself. She was like, yeah, I sent like my first nude.
Yeah.
It's like,
right?
girl,
On Snapchat.
you're in 7th grade.
Yeah.
Like, and I had friends who would just meet guys on Snapchat and only have like sexual relationships with them.
Dude, we can go so many ways with this.
Exactly.
We didn't even mention Omegle.
Oh,
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Notice the reaction in the room with Omegle. Like,
Instant trauma response.
instant
Bad.
trauma. Yeah, but
or what's that new like live streaming app that is like related to Twitter? But Omegle and that one are both not Twitch. The other, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like those, I know when I was in middle school, I was on those things. Like as a minor, I knew there would be people who would be looking for us,
Absolutely.
and
that
we
was the whole
joked
like
about it.
that was the whole funny part of it. Like,
Yeah.
haha, like that guy, you know,
He showed
like,
us his penis.
exactly.
Yeah.
It was so like what a weird world. I mean, I used to do it like on my high school or my middle school Chromebook in like library class.
Literally.
Like
Yeah.
we would be like, guys, let's sneak in, go on Omegle, you know, and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like social media has really taken relationships and just runs with it. Like
Yeah.
I see like there's this couple who I follow on TikTok and I really like them. They're a lesbian couple. But one thing that they say that I really dislike is that they don't fight. Like they're like, we don't fight. We've never fought. And I'm like, okay, well that's a fucking pardon my language. That's a lie. That is a big fat lie.
Yeah.
And I think that's really setting an unrealistic standard for relationships of being like, we don't fight ever. It's like, okay, well, there's sometimes you need, like, if you need to assert, you know what I mean? I find that to be like, and that now people, like my sister is like, well, if I ever fight with a guy, I'm just breaking up with him. And I'm like, you can.
Yeah, but like
Or-
that in relationships
that
it
is
happens.
crazy to me though. Like
Yeah.
to just not have that level of like conflict resolution, I guess, in your life. To just think like,
Yeah.
if I get into a fight, well, then clearly it's not worth it. Like that's wild
Yeah.
to just hit that kind of road bump.
I think
and just
that
Where's
fish
the
in the
long
sea
run
thing.
right there, you know?
Yeah, exactly. People have taken there are plenty of fish in the sea and are like, there's so many. I don't even need to treat the ones that I know with respect.
right.
And I feel like
yeah.
that rubs me the wrong way. Like with the situationships thing, like it's just dating. It's
Yeah.
not any different to going on dates. You're just not steady
Right.
as we would. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, and I wonder, I kind of brought this up earlier, but I wonder how much, like, because there's always kind of I think in literally every generation, there's like hookup culture to some degree, and it just sort of like changes name. Like it used to be swingers or
Mhm.
whatever back in the 60s, and then it became like hookup culture, or like, I don't know, in the early 2000s, maybe it was like your college, they just called it your college years. I don't know. You know? But in general, like I wonder if situationships is just kind of this new version of like an open relationship, or just hooking up in general. You know, is this a new way of kind of
Yeah.
talking about it? What's the new original thing about being in a situation
With the 60s that you just mentioned, this was actually from the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my dad were talking about music, and we were listening to the song from the 50s. And it's, here, wait. I can find you the title. But he came to this realization that, like, if you listen to all that old music, it wasn't like, oh, I love you and I hope you love me forever. It was like, if I give you this, will you still come to me tomorrow? It's like, if we have sex, will we still be talking tomorrow? And that was the kind of general vibe of the music. Here, I'm going to try to find the song. Okay. Will you still love me tomorrow? And is the like
Who's it by?
it is by the Sherrills.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's like that, it's so interesting to think about, like back then, like if you had sex, basically you were getting married. You know what I mean? Like that's it. There was no other, like that was the expectation.
Yeah. There's this song. Oh, it's Would You Fall in Love with Me Again? It's from this guy who has recreated the Odyssey through like musical, like using like musicals. So he's basically like rewritten the Odyssey with like songs. And that song in it, like Ophelia and no, not Ophelia. What the hell is her name? Doesn't matter. The Odyssey couple. But basically they're having why is it not showing me this? Whatever. They're having a conversation in that song where she's like, I haven't seen you in 20 years.
Right.
And it's like him coming home from the entire Odyssey. Am I getting the name correct? Yeah, whatever, doesn't matter. And he And it's like really sad because he's like, I'm an entirely different person. Entirely different. I'm not
Right.
your husband anymore. And she's like, yes, you're still my husband. You're still physically the same person. And the song is about them deciding if they want to stay together. And it's a really beautiful song and one of the most beautiful moments in that story, at least that I remembered. And I feel like that can't happen anymore. I think young people, like because of social media and like online things, I think people don't want to try for like long term. I think because it's so easy to find new people to date, they just do that instead.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do for sure. I think that's a consequence of like Tinder, and I don't think it's like I said, it's not anything new necessarily. It is just immediate access to something that we've always had. It is hookup culture at the tips of your fingertips constantly and always. And that just like brings it to this new level of accessibility to where now you always have that option, I think. And I think like genuinely there's still, I mean, I want to believe there's young people who are out there still just looking for meaningful relationships. I would like to, think so as a single person. But yeah, I think that accessibility is like, it does tend to kind of ruin things.
Yeah. And like, I think it's interesting because you, in our like document, you said Tinder 9 to 5, where it's like a job.
Yeah.
You feel burdened having to talk to people who you're supposed to be romantically interested in.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
feels not great.
I definitely think of Tinder and Bumble and those dating apps as like it is a chore, essentially. It's like if you want to have any kind of romantic connection, you have to keep up this chore. You have to like keep your profile relevant. You have to take you have to like try to talk to people or whatever on the app, and it is
I feel like that would be
kind
exhausting.
of grueling.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I personally barely interact with those apps, but I think it's also just that they create this constant like fear of missing out, like marketing design that constantly is telling you like, well, you're missing out on something if you're
Right.
not on these apps right
Yeah.
now. Look at what
Are
everyone
you
else
lonely?
is. Yeah.
Are you not doing this, not doing that? Yeah.
Yes.
Or like
for
Gen Z
sure.
isn't having enough sex. Gen Z isn't partying enough. It's like, okay, you're not necessarily giving us the space to.
Right.
You're giving us like a platform to market ourselves, and then what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't
Like,
give
what
us
is
a
it,
bar.
LinkedIn? Like,
Yeah, no, literally. That's
it's like, you know what I mean? It's like,
Tinder is LinkedIn
it's
for
just
dating.
a glorified like campaign, basically, you know?
Yeah, it is. I think for a lot of people, it is more so like a way to get some kind of validation and like feel good about yourself and hop onto this app and be like, oh, all of these people are attracted to me or want
Yeah.
to meet up or whatever. And genuinely, it makes it like more of an exercise in futility than an actual like dating platform.
I think right now my dad is going through the dating process, and he's going through as a man in his 50s, early 50s, and he's on dating apps in Phoenix. And we're also like, I'm from New York, he's from New York, and I think one of the hardest things he's seeing right now is that people in Phoenix have an attitude of like, oh, you're a New York liberal, like you're annoying, you're the problem. And he's having these weird conversations. Like this would be something we would have to get him in here because I can't think of it off the top of my head. But it's like he's trying to market himself, but he is who he is, and he is like an artsy New York person who is interested in like going and walking and like going to art galleries and stuff like this, and he paints. But it's the implications that come with the non-personality of an app,
Yes.
where you can just judge a book by the cover and judge the book by the little blurb that's in the bio, and that's it. And so he's having so many of these weird questions like, oh, you're from New York? Like all that kind of vibe. And he's not getting a lot of traction. And my dad's a good looking person. Like I will give him that. He's like, he works out twice a day, like really good looking.
Well,
So
he
it's
sounds
very
like
interesting.
he sounds like the person that a girl would be like, I want a guy who's going to take me to the museum. I want a guy who's going to do art with me.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, you're from New York? That's the one thing
Exactly.
that turns me away. Like, girl, give him a shot.
Yeah, and like my dad doesn't drink. He's not overly religious and all that stuff. It's really interesting to see that, and he's he's having this realization for currently moving out from New York. Like, wow, people are very conservative here and they don't like New Yorkers. Like, he just said that to me last night, actually.
Damn, like the xenophobia.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Like,
weird.
because I know a lot of Phoenix people hate California people.
Yeah.
So I think like New York is the next step below that.
I don't
really
see
interesting.
why. Like, I'm born
don't
and
know.
raised in Phoenix. I understand the dislike of California people, I'll be honest, just because of their driving. Horrible drivers.
Right,
Yeah.
because California's literally like always moved to Phoenix,
Yeah.
and so there's this
Right.
idea of like gentrification.
So
For
I think
sure,
there's,
and I can
and
get
like our
that.
water rights and stuff. Like New York.
Water rights.
Yeah.
Right.
Or lack thereof.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I don't, yeah, that's so interesting.
Yeah, and it's something that we'll have to get him into this because we
would be
didn't have
fun.
like a full in-depth conversation. So I didn't see the messages, but it's just he's having this problem, and it's really interesting.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I think also just political division in like. I think it does affect
Mhm.
all of us. Like,
Yeah,
even as
absolutely.
a young person, like, you know, when someone is very obviously like, I'll just say like, like opposing beliefs of mine on like a dating site. Yeah, that does kind of shut down a lot of like interactions or like
Mhm.
potential, you know, dates or whatever. Like even for a young person, I think that that division is still pretty real.
Oh yeah, all of my girlfriends, they'd be like, "I'm not dating a Trump supporter." And
Yeah.
I understand it. I really do. But I had a friend who just got married to a guy who, 4 years ago he voted for Carrie Lake, and now he's still like pretty conservative and he's in the military, but like he has seen maybe why, they've gone back and forth on agreeing and disagreeing on things, and I feel like that's
Mhm.
a little bit more healthy than just blindly agreeing with one another.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean-
so for sure.
Never judge a book by its cover. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the problem with I think our system. This is like a really deep conversation, deeper and wider conversation. But I feel like that's like a problem is these words, and these words have such negative implications for both sides. For
Yeah.
the right side, like liberal, that's a very negative thing, and then
Or
for,
woke.
or woke, yeah. And then like a right or a left leaning person, like conservative or
Mhm.
a Trumpy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's so many like extremes in that implication, but really, how many people are that extreme?
Exactly.
You know?
Like, I'd be called a blue-haired liberal as much as you know what I mean? But it's
Yeah.
like, at the end of the day, I like to talk to people about their opinions. My
Yeah.
dad's a full-blown Trump supporter. He's voted for him every time. And like, he and I still
Yeah.
sit down at the end of the day and talk about politics.
Yeah, I mean, my dad's a detective Marine.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
like, anytime there's anything involving with Trump, it's the first conversation as well. Well, he loves cops and he does really good for them, and he employs NYPD like specifically. So
Yeah.
that's like the whole conversation I have with him, and I get it. I
Mhm.
100% get it. I sympathize with them and I empathize it. Like,
Mhm.
if you're a cop and you see this world, it's like, of course, that's like all you would think of.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
I think it's really interesting how you brought up, like, because of just like your dad experiencing this, like one photo is what determines, or one word, one sentence is what determines your entire possibility of dating. Like, but like my dad, he's also kind of dating now, but he's entirely given up because he was like, the only way that I used to date was by walking up to somebody and saying hi.
Right. My dad says that so many times.
Yeah.
You see, he says you can't go up to people anymore because they're afraid you're going to be like a rapist, and like
Weird.
you
Yeah.
can't talk to women anymore.
Yeah. And like I think that's hard. That's a really fine line to balance on, especially for like older men. I think if like if you're in college, you can be like, "Oh, what school or what classes are you in?" whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like I don't know. It's scary. People don't give it enough credit. Like you have to have confidence in yourself in order to go up and just talk to people at a bar. And
Yeah,
I think the average person
absolutely.
doesn't.
And then on top of that, like my dad doesn't drink, so like
Yeah.
he
that-
sometimes goes to bars and just has like a non-alcoholic beer just to talk to people. You know?
Yeah, it can make it really hard. I have recently like stopped drinking too, and bars are like the one excuse to meet people nowadays. You
Yeah,
know, the one
exactly.
thing that's
Yeah.
not online, or I guess like a church or whatever, is like going to a bar and just talking to someone.
Yeah.
Which if you don't drink, that makes that pretty difficult.
No,
It
that
does,
You know,
is.
just
Yeah.
go there and get pretend to drink, essentially, get a non-alcoholic drink or a soda or something in a
I mean,
whiskey glass.
If you
Literally.
think about it, even like on a dating app, what is the best way to have a conversation with someone when you first meet them? You either go, hey, let's get some coffee or let's go for a drink. It's not me. It's not a date. You're not having
Yeah.
food. You're not, there's no implications after that. It's just, let's talk.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's like either you are lame and meet during the day when people are working and you get coffee, or you go and have a casual drink and it's like you sit there with an alcoholic beer. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what are we going to walk in the mall?
Yeah, exactly. And like trying to date, I don't know, like trying to find things to do. That's something my sister brought up with her dating. Like she's newly getting into it and like having a place to go on a date where you're not 21, you can't go to a bar. So what do you do?
Right.
And
Yeah.
like in Flagstaff, there's a few more options than like the average place. But
Yeah,
like,
at least you can walk and
cafes.
get pizza.
Yeah,
Or,
like literally.
yeah.
Like-
Like Phoenix, God, I can only. And
Exactly.
imagine now if you don't have a car.
Exactly.
Now,
Dating without a car or money,
yeah. Oh, or money.
might
yeah.
as well just throw your hands
Forget
up in
about
the
it.
air.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah. That's, I guess, something we could talk about. Because splitting the bill. Thanks.
Oh, that's a good concept right there.
Yeah.
I think, depending on the date, it depends. If it's the
Mhm.
first date, maybe pay. But if you had to talk about, hey, could you split it? I think everybody
Yeah.
should be open to splitting the bill.
Dating on a budget. How do you date on a budget?
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
I think so.
And it's like I listen to a lot of like radio shows. Like, you guys know Rick and Jubal in the morning? No? Okay. So the concept is it doesn't go on anymore, but this was like mid 2000s where it's called the second date update, where someone calls in and or emails and was like, hey, I went on a date with this person. They're not responding. Can you call them and say why? And then, of course, the catch is like, oh, they're not on the line, but they're actually listening. And then, like, at the end, they're like, well, if someone is on the line and they want to talk to you. But it's really interesting
yeah,
to
I think
hear.
I remember that, actually. I think
Yeah.
I remember hearing that on the
Yeah,
radio
I'm
back
sure
in the day.
it was on Instagram now and stuff like that. But it's interesting to hear that people like, well, he didn't want to pay. And like, well, he was kind of cheap because he brought coupons. Like, that kind of vibe is like,
Whoa.
some people are just broke. Some people
Yeah.
don't have a job right now because they got laid off. And it's like, what implications does that pose?
Yeah, you shouldn't not be able to connect with people because you don't have the money.
Yeah,
That's not-
exactly.
That's horrible.
But then at the same time, what is too far?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what instance is like embarrassing?
I mean, I think you should let your situation be known before the date happens. So, like, if you're like, hey, I don't have enough money to maybe cover the entire date, would you mind splitting the bill? And then, like, because I really feel like a lot of the time it's like a more traditional mindset that might make somebody trapped in the whole the man must pay thing. It's not a bad mindset. It's just you might not be compatible if that's how you're having to date,
Yeah.
Just hard.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like weird offering to pay at dates now. Like at most of the time on a first date, if I do end up paying for something, it's like, hey, I can cover it if you're cool with that. Like, I don't have to. It's up to you or whatever.
I feel like that's the
it feels like
respectful
either
way.
way it can be just weird. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
But you talk about it.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's what you're supposed to do. Like, not just
exactly.
assume.
right.
Yeah. And it's like, it's really funny with drinks too. It's like, I feel like a very common masculine thing is like, you walk up to a bar and there's a girl like waiting to order a drink and you start talking and then it's like, oh, I'll buy you a drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That goes back to where is uncomfortable.
Yeah. That's true. And that's hard because then you just have to learn body language reading.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be like, I feel like dating is like an art and you have to be really perceptive and you
It
have to be
is.
able to like meet someone and read them perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah. My Papa David, he has this saying, some will, some won't. So what? Who's next? And that's his philosophy to a lot of things. But he was telling Haley that, my sister, for dating, because he was like, yeah, some people will be interested. Some people won't. So what? Move on.
Mhm.
And I think that's a mindset that more young people should start adapting because, like, who cares if she has a boyfriend or if he isn't interested? Like, just move on to the next person. Don't focus too much on the past. I think that really can tie some people down.
Yeah.
What is everyone's go-to date? Like, what is everyone's like? Because like, I don't know. I feel like I usually have like let's get coffee. Like
Yeah.
that is my first like getting to know someone date. Like, what is everyone's first like that vibe?
Usually coffee, I feel like, or maybe drinks, depending on like the vibe of, how I've met the person or whatever. and how we've like spoken so far. Like maybe I'll ask to go to drinks on the first date, or I would have used to. I don't really drink so much anymore, but yeah, like coffee or drinks, I think.
Yeah, recent first date was at Boba in a movie.
Huh,
So
that's nice.
I feel like you get to talk to each other, and then you have 2 hours, but you don't have to talk.
Yeah.
Smart.
Right.
That is pretty funny.
Yeah.
But that's an interesting one though, because like there's some implications there,
Yeah,
which
that we wanted to hang out for two occasions. Like we did more than one thing on our date.
no, I mean like my vibe with not that I would expect that, but I feel like I would, as a guy, I'd be afraid if I asked someone to go to movies with me. Like I would be afraid they're kind of getting the vibe like I'm asking them to hook up with me.
Oh,
I don't know if maybe that's just
is
like
it a movie?
I don't know why. Maybe just like I have a lot of friends that like are kind of scumbags, and that's
No,
how,
I guess TMI. We did make out, so
Oh, okay. Well,
maybe that could be implied.
but was
for
that
some
like your
people.
first date?
Like technically, yeah, but we had hung out the week before as like friends.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of was already very interested in making it known.
So, but was the movie kind of like? Were
Kinda
you
like-
happy you made out?
Yeah,
So maybe you were expecting that.
Yeah,
Like maybe that was
that was
the
what I was
expectation.
hoping for.
Oh,
Reese
okay.
was very polite. He like asked. He was like, "Can I put my arm around you?
Oh,
Can
okay.
I give you a kiss?"
So
Like,
right, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Exactly what happened. I feel like is kind of the implication of that date.
and that's
Yeah.
fair.
I mean, yeah, movies are just like the classic like
Cuddle up and
date
Yeah.
thing. Like that's just like when you like in an old movie when you see someone like dating someone, they usually ask to go to the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's like the implication around it.
I liked it, and I felt like the pressure to talk was off because we could talk before,
Mhm.
buy some snacks at the dollar store, and then go to the movie.
Yeah.
But that's a good point though. I didn't really think about that because I
See-
haven't been dating in a long time.
Me and Sierra, we had that. That was like we weren't. It wasn't even a date. It was like one of our like third hangout. And the time before that, I thought it was a date, and she was like, "It's not a date. We're just hanging out." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Yeah, exactly. Like one of those like,
Is it,
"Uh-oh,
whoops?"
head scratched." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So and then afterwards, that kind of like eased the pressure. But it was like we wanted to see the Alien movie, so we just went and saw it. And it was I remember because if the time before that didn't happen, I would feel weird.
Mhm.
I would have felt like, what's going on here? Like, is she gonna think I'm a loser if I don't like put my arm around her? Like that kind of vibe.
That's fair. I liked how Reese asked.
Yeah,
But
that's
I
a very
also-
respectful
yeah,
thing to do.
yeah. I was like, good. That made me happy and comfortable. So
I mean,
advice.
that's why I asked if it was a date before.
Yeah.
Because I was like, because sometimes like dates happen and it's not like you don't like that. No one specifically said, "Hey, that's a date," or like it's a
Mhm.
date. You know?
Yeah.
For sure.
Reese and I were very communicative. He asked
Yeah.
because we planned it as a hangout, and then he was like, "Can we make it a date?" And I was like, "Yes."
That's nice. That's cute.
Yeah.
I like.
I feel like communication is what a lot of people are lacking.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's really hard and scary. Like Haley, I don't want to spill too much of their tea. My sister, they've been like trying to date in Flag, and like they hated the dating app stuff. They were like, it's either too many people at once or like nobody. And it's like I don't want to talk to 5 people and not really feel anything for any of them, and then kind of feel like an ass about it. You know?
Yeah.
I just feel like that's hard middle ground.
Yeah. So, Darby, you're currently dating right now, or trying to date.
Yeah. Currently, the Lumberjack takes up most of my time, but
As it does.
yeah, I went on a few dates over the summer, and like, yeah, I
Nice.
still use the dating apps every once in a while.
Was that that's what was going to be my lead-up question. Is that your go-to form of trying to meet people?
I'd say if I have nothing else, yeah. Like school is kind of the ideal form of meeting people, I think. Like meeting someone in class, meeting someone in person, actually like doing something. Even like going to a bar, which is kind of difficult for me. But yeah, like meeting someone in person is definitely the ideal, and using like Tinder or Bumble or whatever is like the go-to because those other things haven't worked out.
Right.
Do you find it hard to like approach women and stuff?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. I feel like that's got to be the hardest part. Because I'm bi, and like I find approaching women scary. Like even just for like friends.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because I don't want them to get the wrong impression or anything, you know? And I feel like that's just hard. Like people have so many walls up, and I think it's because social media told them to. You know what I mean? Like I genuinely, and because like yes, there are scary men protect yourselves, ladies. Please do not misinterpret
Yes,
what I'm saying.
absolutely. Yeah.
Helmst ever. I enjoy talking to a crazy person every once in a while. Like at the bar last year for Tequila Sunrise, there was a guy he was way too drunk, you know? And he
Oh,
was,
I remember that guy.
yeah,
Yes.
way too
yes,
drunk.
Yes.
I'm not going to talk about what he was talking about because it was honestly really triggering.
Mhm.
But I still, at the end of the day, kind of found it funny. But I had people at the bar with me who I knew I'd be safe with. I know other
Yeah.
Lumberjack staff was there.
Your literal boyfriend was there.
Yeah, my boyfriend was there. But I don't know. I feel like sometimes having a talk with somebody, as long as you do it in a safe environment, could be kind of fun. My Uncle Mikey said this, and maybe it's a bad piece of advice, but sometimes later, like bad situations end up being really, really good stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you
Mhm.
want a good story for later in your
Those
life.
are the best ones you laugh at,
Yeah.
you know?
So, not saying, don't give the crazy guy a chance, but maybe hear what he has to say. It'd be kind of funny.
That's interesting.
Do women ever really approach either of you guys?
Yeah. I mean,
Sometimes.
I could only think of like one time in a while. So, yes,
Mhm.
but that one time. I was at a bar. This was actually like 3 weeks ago. And me and my friend Bradley were at the bar, and he was talking to somebody that he knew, and then I was like trying to order a drink, so there was one of her friends were at the bar, and I was just like kind of chatting it up with her. And then afterwards, I was just like being myself, and she ordered, and then she turned to me and was like, "Oh, thank you for getting this for me. Is that okay?" And I was like, I mean, kind of broke, not really. Like I was trying to get the vibe, like trying to like tell her
Yeah.
she didn't know I had a girlfriend and all that
Mhm.
stuff, because we had just met, and I was just trying to like non-verbally be like, I have a girlfriend, but try to be like, nah, is it okay if we don't? You know what I mean? Kind of, and that was the last time.
Yeah, I feel like Reese has had some people be like, "Hey, can I have your Snapchat?" Or like, "Hey."
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he's like you, where he just like talks to people. He just wants to have a chat.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times people might take that as like being hit on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's not necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes like you overassert yourself by assuming you're being hit on.
Yeah. And I'm for some guys, like for some girls, I guess they're used to guys talking to them because they are hitting on them.
Yeah.
And some guys are not outgoing, so they have to force themselves to be that outgoing. But and I'm sure Reese. It sounds like Reese is the same way. I mean, I like Reese, and we kind of talk and we hit it off the few times we hung out. It's just like I talk to people, and it's fun to talk to people. It's fun to just turn to my left and be like, "What are you ordering?" You know what I mean? It's fun.
Yeah.
Reese has started talking to people less because of how often it's happened to him.
Really?
Yeah, and so I think that is a little like, so what? You know what I mean? Some will, some won't. So what?
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Let's just like, but I don't know. People are really weird. I think it's hard to know when to ask somebody out. Like when did you ask Sierra out if your first 3 dates or hangouts were
The second time we hung out.
Okay, because I was kind of like,
But I mean, I'm gonna get real personal with this. I had just come out of a relationship, and I was like spiraling a little bit. So I think my brain was like rebound.
mm,
And then she was like, "No, dude, you're in a relationship. Like, no." And then I was like, "All right, fine." And then it was like 5 months later that we actually started dating. She was like, "I want to be friends."
Yeah.
And then we became friends. And then even like we started like talking and then hanging out and doing stuff and drinking together. She still was like, "Look, I still want to take it slow." And we did. And that was nice. And she was very hesitant about going on a date. And then it was today's our 1 year. So last year was when we first, she was my girlfriend, but we had started hanging out in August.
mhm.
I guess so that's pretty fast sometimes. But like
Mhm.
for me being like the second time we hung out in August, like this is a date.
Yeah.
And then we finally actually started dating a couple of months after. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the gist. But sorry, what was the question?
No, you answered. I was like, basically, when did you ask her out?
Oh, when did I ask her out? Okay, yeah.
So like a few months after dating. I
Yeah.
feel like that's really like Reese and I, we started talking, and like a month later, we went on a date, and then that date he was like, girlfriend.
Good
But
for
we
him.
also started dating in high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was a junior and he was a senior, and it was like literally a week before COVID hit.
How long have you guys been together?
5.5 years.
Oh my God, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Wow.
Slay.
Good for you guys. Wow.
That's why I think dating is so interesting. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know about it. I want to know what people are doing and saying. I don't know. I got the experience of a long-term and long-distance relationship under my belt. I don't know. Distance, I think, is an interesting thing for relationships.
Ooh.
I had a friend who broke off a relationship because of the distance. And like Reese and I, he lived in Germany for a year. And so, I don't know. And right now he's living in Austin.
Right.
So I feel like distance is a killer.
Yeah, it is.
It's a killer.
Have you ever been in a long distance relationship?
No, I haven't.
Hmm.
But yeah, I feel like, I mean, I don't know. Nowadays, it feels like almost a lot of people are in long distance relationships with like people they live with because of the degree to just like how online people are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta imagine that would be really hard.
Yeah.
Like you're already online so much, you're already interacting with everyone so much through social media or text or whatever, and now your love life is filtered through that.
Yeah.
That seems incredibly difficult to me.
That's another thing I think with social media has become more popular. And I wonder if it really has, if it hasn't. I feel like everyone knows at least two people with long distance relationships that they've only met like twice.
Oh, yeah, like starting to date online
Yeah.
and then continuing to date. Yeah, I think that's dangerous.
Yeah. One of Sierra's friends, I'm not going to say who, but like they have been dating their I put in quotations because I feel like they haven't met each other. They haven't met each other. They've been dating and they finally met each other after a year.
Wow.
But they've been dating for like 6 months. But at the same time, Sierra will be like, well, yeah, I used to be on most of their FaceTime calls. And it's like what is the dynamic there is like, what's the difference between Sierra then? Sierra was like, obviously I didn't have feelings for her. I'm not saying Sierra, but it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Like what classifies dating?
Because there's that 90 Day Fiancé show. And the whole premise of that is that two people who have been in an online relationship for, I think I saw one that was on a relationship for 12 years.
Wow.
And then they finally met each other. And like, I don't think it went well. Because there were so many expectations and stuff of what the person was, what they did, who they were, how they acted. It's unrealistic. We keep going back to this. Unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
Social media, long distance, AI.
I think
crazy.
that's one of my weaker points is long distance. I crumble. I am just not. After a while, I'm like, I hate being on the phone. It's just not like entertaining at all. And it's like, it's hard. It's so hard,
Yeah.
you know?
You have to really like each other, I'll be honest.
Yeah, you have to really like talking to each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you guys know me. I love to yap. And Reese, he likes to talk a lot too. But I won't lie. Like when he was in Germany, there were like weeks. I remember there was a month where we didn't talk at all. And
Oh, really?
I was upset. But we were both so busy and the time differences.
Yeah, it's hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you want to be long distance, the thing that we learned at the very least is you have to make purposeful time for each other. It doesn't matter if you're on the phone every day. It matters if you've had like a solid hour or two where you're actually listening and communicating.
Yeah.
So.
And I had the similar thing this summer where I was going back to New York, but poor Sierra was trapped at home with her parents in Phoenix and she just like couldn't get a job and she doesn't drive. So she was like trapped at home.
Damn.
So it was like I had stuff to talk about, but she had nothing to talk about because nothing new was happening.
Yeah.
And that's what made it hard.
Yeah.
Because it was nothing against her. She did nothing wrong. It wasn't that she had nothing to talk about. It's just she was not doing nothing.
Yeah, Reese and I are in that right now because like I'm doing all these interesting things with the LJ. I'm doing all these college classes, and he's going to work every day for like 12 hours, and then he's going home, and it's like, it was work,
Yeah.
and that's hard.
And I'm sure he feels guilty like finding friends and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's really hard to make friends when you're in a relationship. I think because like his parents were like, you just go out to a bar and like just talk to people, and he's like, they're gonna assume I'm hitting on them, like guys or girls, because Austin's a queer friendly place and Reese is a very he's a talkative guy. So I don't know. I think it's more just like about confidence, right? And like I would like Reese to go out and like try to talk to people and then just have the confidence to be like, no, I have a girlfriend. Thank you though. Thanks for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's hard because I think women get really used to that, to saying, no, I have a boyfriend. No, I have a boyfriend. I think it's a little harder for the boyfriend sometimes to say, no, I have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
It feels rude. Like you were saying, feels kind of rude.
Yeah, and it's awkward.
Yeah.
It's like, how do I, and I'm a kind person, it's like, how do I respectfully deny you? You know what I mean? But then, like, we still had a conversation. It was still like, I was enjoying talking to that person, and we were all like hanging out with two friend groups. And then it's like, I said that, and then all of a sudden, like, she just like was like, okay, got her drink, and then like ran to the bathroom. And I was like, oh man, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Yeah, you're like, damn, I wasn't trying to make you feel that way.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I wasn't trying to deny you. Like,
yeah. I think it's hard because both people in this situation have to have enough confidence in themselves.
Yeah.
Like, that's hard, actually. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Dating is fun, right?
Dating in 2025. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you have any thoughts, questions, or opinions on dating in 2025, please email us at thelumberjack@nau.edu or DM us on Instagram at thelumberjack.